this on. Do not disturb. Do not disturb. One person's already on. Jeez, that was quick. I guess when I add a bit up, someone's on.
Yeah, but you gotta flip it around.
What are you doing?
Flipping it around. How have you been, buddy?
Good. Who's that?
Wrangleosaurus Rex. Wrangleosaurus Rex.
What?
Wrangleosaurus.
You gotta like talk out because I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
You're kidding.
Over here. Which is good. So I have to do exercises that for my hip.
Once you guys get into the live, you can start asking questions right away. Johnny, what are you doing right now?
So I have, I was possibly thought I might have had to get hip surgery, and I was talking to my physiotherapist last week, and he said that these things that happened can be physioed out, basically. So just strengthening my glute, and like there's an abrasion that's there. All the symptoms that I have are symptoms of like at a acute part of range of motion. I have this like, could be like, you know, a bone spur or something, but if you train it properly and go through the range and start strengthening that area, it can actually get better, which is pretty dope. So I'm gonna do that as much as I can, and then when I get more imaging, then I'll know for sure. But until then, I have to do a bunch of exercises that only my range of motion for like, say like an RDL is here. So we don't like going lower than 90 degrees isn't necessarily a goal yet. So getting to here and loading my glute here and then driving up to start. So there's like, right now there's like pain but there's not like instability in a sense. So I'm trying to strengthen all this as much as I can, and then innately that'll actually help the joint, the socket, start moving a lot better.
Alan wants to know, is using less weight, more reps better for building muscle?
So I think we have to really change that verbiage or that approach, because I know what you're saying, but people take that approach as being like, I'm gonna train light and get bigger, when it's not. So you don't want to use lighter weight, you want to use a moderately heavy weight, meaning like something that is going to exhaust your muscle because of the actual weight. So just by the way you said that, and no offense to you at all, but the way you say that is the people's approach. Now what I have to work through when it comes to clients, and I watch them do their set and I see zero struggle, right? When I watch somebody do a set, at the end of your set, whatever weight you're using, you should be showing some kind of like form breakdown or struggle. You're fighting the bar, you're working, you know, there's some reps in there that are hard. So simply just having lighter weight to build muscle it will work, but it'll take you a lot longer. So get a weight that's going to exhaust you and make you work, and it's hard. And yeah, higher weight, higher reps will help you build muscle with that kind of weight. That makes sense.
It does. Can you move your mic down a little bit?
No.
Please?
Where?
Just down a little bit.
Down.
It was like rubbing on your hair and stuff.
My hair's rubbing?
Yeah.
It's tickling it like this.
Oh my
Was
God.
it doing this?
Yeah. It was. It was doing that.
Oh, I know some really funny stuff. Instability training that I'm doing, and I was immediately like, oh, yeah, everyone's gonna talk about that. But there is like space for you to train on an unbalanced surface or a lopsided surface, and that's for help with like proprioception, but also like all those little tiny muscles, especially when you get injured, all those tiny little stabilizers that are working, so I could kind of give you an idea. Where's the exercise ball at? It's in another room. Actually, we'll do this. Follow me. Anyone ask a question yet? No?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fine.
Okay.
You can watch me.
Did you do it locally or did you go? No, everybody went to church, right? I went
All right. So, when you're injured, recovering from injury, we want 5 reps of lopsidedness, right? So right now, if I go on the ground and I do like, say like I'll do this like so you can see. If I'm doing a lunge and I'm trying to lower my weight without using my leg as much as I can, I'll go this way,
Yeah.
right? Going down, you can see how much control I have. Even if I go like flat foot to the top, I'm able to pull myself up. Like there's like minimal movement happening in my ankle, right? So obviously there's a strong base, leverage, instability here. And if I do this way, right now there's a unstable surface. But this leg that's already basically perfectly fine doesn't need that, right? The leg that does need that is the one on this side that right now if I do the same thing, if I go one leg, getting down, my range of motion isn't where like I don't want to go less than 90, but you can see already coming down this and kind of babying it a bit here, right? And which is good, but there's still not much of a challenge. So being on an unstable surface like this, and now doing it, it's a lot harder. And we want my body to get used to this so it can get stronger. And what's getting stronger isn't necessarily like the bigger part of my muscle. Like this part isn't getting like work. It's those little tiny like stabilizing muscles around that are working a lot harder that get stronger. So it can heal a lot better and quicker. So I'm healing more stably. My stabilization's better than when going down and being able to do this. So squatting on an unstable surface or doing this actually has purpose when you're coming back from injury. But if you're completely and utterly fine, there's no point in being on an unstable surface to train like balance and wise. So.
The next question was, what is the best way to fix muscle imbalance?
So a couple things. You're going to have muscle imbalance regardless. Nobody is perfect at all. If you have hurt yourself and like you say you broke your arm and it's been in a cast and it's atrophied a bit, then we want to do unilateral work. Unilateral meaning like bilateral is at the same time. Unilateral is one side at a time, then the next side, right? Not alternating, literally doing one side first, then the next side. So that's a good way of helping muscle imbalances and then starting on the smaller muscle first. If you're trying to, like for myself, I injured my shoulder. So neurologically and whatnot, when it comes to, it's affected my ability to do like tricep extensions and bicep curls. So this arm is actually smaller than this arm. And like I can do all the work in the world and it will not make that much of a difference. One side is gonna be a little bit bigger than the other side. You gotta deal with it.
Any tips for tennis, elbow / tendonitis, etc.?
Good. So I did a little bit of that to myself the other day. A couple things you can do for yourself. Use get some, baby oils, Vaseline, KY jelly, whatever you need. And rub like this over top of your arm and come here and basically go from here, or you can use your thumb and do the same thing. And then do that as well while you're extending your arm. So doing like this helps with that. And then doing some stuff where you're doing some squeezing work or also working this part of your forearm. So doing some extensions here would help out for sure.
Johnny, have you watched the video with Dr. Mike and Dr. Pat? Can you make a video on your thoughts and take on powerlifting and how to create a program around it?
Around powerlifting?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
Powerbuilding? Sorry, powerbuilding.
Powerbuilding. You know what's funny? It goes way back. Me and Greg, I started my bodybuilding my first year bodybuilding, it was like on my own, figuring it out. My second year when I moved in with Greg, we were doing power bodybuilding from the jump, and it's like not as hard or complicated as you think. It's very, very simple, and I'll make a video onto it, but like really, I'll make it very easy. Let's say you have on your chest day, right? Your chest day is going to be obvious chest. Then your first exercise, you're going to do bench, and then you structure your bench. Now we did a descending rep scheme, but you can do your rep schemes of like of your 5x5 if you like, or whatever it is. And then when you're done your meat and potato bodybuild or powerlifting exercise, then you move on to your next exercises, right? And go on to like your incline and then like your flies and whatever. Same with like on your back day. For us, our back day was start off with sumos, and because I like sumos more. And even though like we don't say like sumos is for like deadlifts for back, but for us it would make more sense on that day to do it. And then we did our sumos first in the descending order. Then after that, then we went on to doing like pull-ups, pull-downs, rows, and biceps. And then so like you can, it's kind of how you do it. Then also our leg day, it was our squats. All right, so we started off with squats, and we did like our squat workout. And then depending on the progression wherever Greg was at his time when he was competing, we'd either be at whatever part he was at in his progression. It was either doing the descending order. We'd use blocks. We'd use a crate for depth. We'd use pins or bands, reverse bands to help with like getting out of certain parts of the hole and then drive that last third. So like I'll do a video on it, but yeah, for sure.
Johnny, I've been doing the male chest exercise as you suggested because you said that the female and male exercises are not the same. Next, what's the next priority body part to shape for female?
What?
Johnny.
I heard that.
Oh.
But I'm pretty sure. So
I think what he's meaning is the.
Oh.
Remember when you talked about
Oh,
implants?
yes,
Yeah.
breasts.
I would say so. That's
Breasts.
what
I'm
it's
assuming you're talking breasts. Yeah. So if you're now make things clear. If you're a woman who has breast augmentation, right? Then we don't want bench pressing movements, right? Is this a woman asking or a man?
I would say by the picture a woman.
Is a woman asking?
I can't see any faces, but
yes. Oh, okay. She's asking what's the next exercise to do?
Yeah, Vanessa, what's the next priority body part to shape for a female?
For a shape for a female? That just like male, like when it comes down to it, we all want here's the thing when it comes to women that men don't have the advantage of. Women have the advantage of having a natural shape of like we're shaped like men are shaped like apples, women are shaped like pears. So most women have this like very natural shape of like a smaller waist and then wider hips. We hold most of our fat, and it's like just evolution-wise as well too. Hips for childbearing, so we have wider hips. They carry most of their fat in their hips and their thighs, where men carry most of their fat right here. So to emphasize anything, it's going to be like shoulders and back, and then obviously like glutes and the rest, right? Because they're just going to accentuate what you already have, and that's why when women train properly and they train to actually build some fucking muscle and not be scared of that, they end up having these absolutely redonkulous physiques. I believe 100% a perfectly built woman looks way better than a perfectly built man. I'm just saying, just attractive wise, I would say on average, women have a better overall physique when it's in shape than a man.
Got back day today. Any good exercises / machines I can use in the gym to bias the upper back / mainly the rhomboids?
To bias the rhomboids?
Yeah.
We're trying to bias rhomboids?
We want that gym to bias the upper back, mainly the rhomboids.
So we want to use a lot of rhomboids, that we're saying. Okay, so we want to row. Here, let's go over there right now. Let's go over there. Let's go over some back right now. Figure it out.
Able to there.
You have to reconnect?
I think we're good.
Actually, hold on a sec.
Right.
There's only 7. There's gotta be 7. Damn, wait. All right, so I'll lower this a little more. But when we're doing these, because of gravity and the angle, naturally, if you watch me right now, come over close to see it. If I protract, come over my back.
Oh.
So letting my body open up, you can see when I'm protracting my traps flare a little bit, everything's opened up. And then when I'm pulling, this is being pulled together, and then the rest of the row is coming up. And then we want the row to come out, keeping the shoulder blades together, and then having them open right up, rolling over it, pull. Roll, pull. Roll, stretch it open, lift everything up. Stretch it open, lift everything up, right? So you want to kind of have that motion when we're doing it. And he's doing a pretty good job actually right now. But you're gonna get a lot of like stretch in that position because gravity's pulling you away. If you don't have that, or if like say like you don't have this available, then moving to like something like this is good as well too. Because again, if we can have the chest supported, and then this naturally opening us out, opening us up, right, and pulling. The force vector, that sounds so stupid, I'm sorry. The line of pull, or just say like gravity, right? All that means is like, if I put weight on here and it's pulling, this machine, depending on how it's built, is gonna have a greater force at the bottom and then when I get the 4 range of motion. Because I'm in a vertical position, most machines start getting easy as hell at the top. So if you wanna get the most bang for a buck from rhomboids in a back, then we wanna have something where we're basically horizontal and then naturally gravity's pulling us open so we can pull up.
I have a weak grip, and sometimes when gripping on something, my hand
Get
starts to
straps.
hurt. What can I do?
Get straps. Get straps. And you probably know straps because somebody was like, straps are for whatever. If you get straps, your limiting factor is no longer your grip. And your grip will not last as long as your back can pull, your shoulders can do flies or press, anything when you're pulling or having to hold something, get straps. Don't worry about your grip. If you want to worry about your grip, do your exercises, do as many sets as you can until you're like, oh, my grip is starting to bug me, and then you use your straps and then continue.
Do you prefer dumbbell or Smith machine for chest workouts?
Oof, I like, damn. Smith and close dumbbell after. I'll do both of them in the same day. So I'll do like 15-degree Smith and then like a 30-degree incline dumbbell or vice versa. I think they're both awesome. What the dumbbells do that the Smith machine doesn't is allows me to get a better, deeper stretch. Now, it would be super dope is if they made a machine, like a Smith machine that had a cambered bar in it. That would be so dope. Or like one you can like change the bar. That would be super cool.
Any advice on set and rep volume after partially tearing my ACL?
Cool, so I don't have an ACL. I tore my ACL in 2009. I was able to rehab it myself without having to get ACL surgery. And I'll tell you exactly what I did. Until I spent 3 months doing everything in terms of like being on unstable surfaces, fixing everything stabilization-wise until like the actual like muscles around it. So like my hamstrings mostly, and obviously my quads. So when your body is healed, that's when you're gonna start doing any kind of like actually loading your quads and your knee. And when it comes to knee, think of like, I'm pretty sure you probably got surgery? You got surgery?
Didn't
So
say.
he didn't get surgery?
Didn't say.
You didn't get surgery?
I don't know, he didn't say.
Oh, I'm assuming you got surgery. If you got surgery and you're already past the physio stuff and you're all good to go, then you want to focus a lot of your hamstrings and your quads, a lot of hamstrings do, because my hamstrings are really strong, hamstrings kind of do the job of the ACL in terms of like stabilizing your knee. When it comes to like volume-wise, if you're healed and good to go, train that just like everything else, right? If you're in the clear to be able to just train, then train it 2 to 3 times a week, and making sure you're getting yourself like enough time to recover, because what you don't want to do is like not rest enough, and then you just basically weaken it and you basically hurt yourself again. A lot of times people get surgeries done and they go too fast and they tear their knee again.
I feel like
Sorry, volume-wise. I would say volume. I would say if you're doing anything quad-wise, like I said, 2 times a week. Have a day where it's like quad dominant. Have a hamstring day where it's hamstring dominant, and then I would say like train those hamstrings. I would give it good 12 sets on both, 100%.
I feel like my left knee has been noticeably weaker than my right ever since I sprained it years ago. I'm nervous some injuries my right knee is due to the misimbalance. Is there a good way to fix this?
So strengthen your hamstrings, your quads. If you find that your knee is a little bit as weak in terms of balance wise, if you're feeling instability, that's when it's really good to start doing unbalanced or unstable surface training, like I showed you earlier. So where's the thing at? Sweet. So here's a cool thing that I used to do. Start off like this. Number one, start with just like whatever leg hurts, whatever knee's not working that good, whatever. Have a slight bend in your knee. So basically a tiny bit of a hinge in your leg, and have one leg up, right? Start with one leg up. This is the knee that's hurt. And then what you're gonna do is like, you can take a ball or just follow your hand. You do like this. You're gonna take your hand like this, and you're gonna follow your hand. See what's happening? You're gonna follow your hand all the way one side, and then you're gonna put it all the way back. And you're gonna basically do it for the same thing. Or if anything, get something like a ball or a piece or an object, and basically go like this, and then follow it over like this, and then follow your hand back this way. You can see how much this side's working. And then once that gets easy, so basically after you can do 5 reps without your body doing this, then you want to go on something that's unbalanced like this and do the same thing. Then when that gets better, then you move on to doing stuff like, strengthening your knee. Leg extensions are good to do, step ups, front foot elevated reverse lunge. And then don't go on obviously heavy weights. Start off on a lighter weight where you can control the weight down, essentially loading, and then having a good concentric contraction at the top.
Hi, Johnny. Best exercise for lat width for women?
For lat width?
Yeah.
So we're looking lats are gonna work whether we're doing say like pull downs or pull ups or we're rowing. If we're specifically just trying to work like just lats and not the rhomboids, the difference between doing pull-ups, like high rows, high pulls, I would say more than like high pulls, whatnot, is the traps or the traps, the rhomboids aren't working as much. If you see when I'm pulling, my shoulder blades don't necessarily do this. So if we're just trying to focus just on that, then doing like pull downs, pronated pull downs. You can do supinated pull downs as well. And then something like high rows are good as well too. But basically any pulling. Now, if you want, for the most part, I work with a couple female clients of mine, and one of the big issues one of the biggest target areas to develop is the scapula area, is their traps. She has this, like I said, women already have a nice shape in terms of like that kind of like V taper. It's the hole in their back that I see that has the biggest issue, and you see like winging shoulder blades. So if anything, you really do want to do high pulls. High pulls are going to make your scaps close and then open. We want to do those. Pronated or supinated pull downs, same thing with a little bit of a lean to help pull our back and close our scapulas and open our scaps. So any kind of pull where your scapulas are opening and then closing, and that's going to help fill in that part of your back and make your back look more complete, especially when you take off you got a nice little hollow top on or back with something. You want your back to be complete, not have these this nice shape from the front. You turn around and you have these shoulder blades that are popping out.
Hi, bro. Any chance to grow legs without training quads due to knee injury? Knee flexion is really difficult, except with leg press for some reason.
I missed that little first part.
Hi, bro. Any chance to grow legs without training quads due to knee injury? Knee flexion is really difficult, except with leg press for some reason.
Except with leg press?
Yeah.
Then leg press. Simple. I did it the one time I didn't do squats for months. All I did was leg press and lunge, and my legs looked amazing. So And that's what training is all about. It's being resilient. It's finding a way to be resilient and be able to continue to go. So like, if you find that leg press is good for you when it comes to extensions, great. My hip has issues right now, and squatting sucks. Belt squat sucks, but the pendulum squat feels absolutely amazing. Guess what I do? Pendulum squat. So you can sit in that leg press machine and give her hell.
Can you demonstrate lat prayers? I try to follow the cues to depress my shoulders, but always feel it more in my arms and shoulders than I do in my lats.
All right, let me put these weights away
Okay.
first. Of course, I'm on my phone. Because you're using my phone. I was looking for my phone for a second. We'll go over there.
Over there?
We're doing lat prayers, right?
Yeah. It's just the lighting is a
Okay,
little
over
pain in the
there.
ass.
Okay, let's do it on a couple different things so we can. I see a lot of people doing these. And all right, so we'll go through all these. The thing. Okay, when it comes to like doing lat prayers, I don't like calling lat prayers. They're called straight arm pull downs. I don't understand why they're called prayers, because we're not like, I would call like preacher prayers, but like lat prayers, like I don't, we're not doing this. You know what I mean? It's just weird. Anyway, so when we're doing straight arm pull downs, we'll use this. It doesn't matter if you're on an easy bar or straight bar. What we want to understand first is like, number one, what is the goal for this? When we're doing straight arm pull downs and not using this weight, straight arm pull downs is basically saying shoulder extension, right? Shoulder flexion is when we do this. Shoulder extension is when we pull the arms down the side like this. The lats pull the arm down the side like this. The traps help do this, and the lats, and they do this. So when we're doing straight arm pull downs, what we want to do is come close. I want to make sure when I do these that when I grip this, my hand goes on like this. It stays on top here,
Nope.
right? I don't want to be like this. Because a lot of times when I'm like this, and it's being like this, and then the arms bend like this, then we're doing this, and all of a sudden you're like, man, my triceps are on fire. Your triceps help with extending the elbow of the arm back here. That's why when you do like tricep extensions, it's better to get it all the way back like this, because you get a greater stretch or a greater contraction at the top here. Problem is that when you're doing straight arm pull downs, you feel it in your triceps as well too, which you should, but you don't want to feel it too early. So what we want to do is, again, get on here like this, get the immediate part in the hand from here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bend the bar, right? We're going to bend the bar this way. So we're going to internally rotate only until the elbows are sticking to the side. The reason why we want to do that is because if I have my elbows like this underneath, then they're going to break eventually. This is the common thing that happens as we do this, and the elbows kind of do this. So if I have my elbows stick out to the side, right, what does that look like as well too? When I'm doing pull-ups, my elbows out to the side, right? So do the same thing here, and then what happens now is my elbows can't bend, right? So now I have this really good connection from here to my elbow, because when we're looking at this, and you guys need to understand this, is that this is just the accessory of this. The lats, the shoulders, the chest is moving this bone. This happens just to be connected to this. But this part of the body of the arm always gets overemphasized and ruins the connection of what the arm is what the said muscle is trying to do to this bone, right? So the lats are trying to just pull this bone down. So we want to be here, elbows out to the side, sit back a bit, hinge a bit here, and I want to, if you watch me now, my chest is up, I'm going to lower my chest into it, so right away my my lats are already working. You can see from here, right? I don't want to depress my shoulder, right? Because we're not trying to do that in this position. I don't want to pull my shoulders back. I want my shoulders to be out. I want to protract, elbows here, and then when I'm pulling from here, pulling down, and then getting my chest to stay up, and then coming back to here. And every time you guys watch my hands, I can literally do them like this without having to use my hands, my fingers at all, because I'm connected right from that part of my meaty part of my hand. My elbows are out, and it's keeping over top. So from here, chest up, and then pulling yourself down. A cool trick you can do is literally go on a bench or even your table and do this, right? And then I want you to try to literally push this to the floor. Do that. And you can probably see my tears actually, or my lats and my tears working. If you look, I'm doing this. Right? Do that. Do that on a table. If you're sitting at a table right now, if you're watching this somewhere, literally sit down. You can sit down on your table, at your desk, whatever, and just do this with your hands and try and push down with your elbows out to the side. Right? I'm here, I'm trying to push down. And that is actually working my lats. And that's what we want to do. So we're gonna do the same thing like that, but nothing changes when we change the handle. It's the same thing, right? The only difference is gonna be like a width. But I can do the same thing from here. It's the same idea. I still want them out. So when I'm pulling, I'm still here, right? Same as if I decide to go and grab the rope. Same idea, but I want that rope to be out and my elbows to be out. I always want my elbows to be on an angle out. I don't want them to be low like this. I want them to be out. So when I'm pulling, they stay out. That helps. Give that a try.
Johnny, how do I improve my spider curl technique? I feel like it doesn't hit my biceps as much as I'd like.
What? That's crazy. I'll show you right now. Lead by example. Put your weights away in your handles. No one's asking me, like, hey, Johnny, how do you put the weights away? How do I put my... All right, I'll show you. All right, are we doing them on a, there's two ways you can do them. I'm gonna do them obviously through on the bench. But the best way to do these is if you have a bench like this, a preacher, bench like this, and you can do it on the flat side here. But if you don't and you have one of these, doesn't go as much. There you go, let's see this one. All right. First mistake that I know most people are making, for sure, is that they're just lifting the weight. And you're like, what do you think you're supposed to? You need to throw me that bar. Ooh, she's strong. All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we're doing spider curls are basically, you want your arms basically down and then curling up. You can go in the middle if you want to. I like kind of doing like this way, but regardless, you want to be here. What I mean by lift the weight is actually like, if you see me right now, I'm flexing my muscle. I'm flexing my bicep, right? I'm flexing. Most times when people can't feel their bicep, is because they're just pulling the weight and relying on the weight to make the contraction. When I want to contract the muscle when I'm pulling, and it makes it a lot more effective. So when I'm doing these, don't grab this much weight, that's for sure. Grab a lighter weight that you can control, that you can sit here, letting your shoulders kind of relax from here. You don't want them up, you want them down here. You want the weight in front of you, so when I'm looking at this bench, I kind of make the cue that I want my hands to be in front of the handles, or I would say the base of this, from here. And then from here, there's already tension, and I'm pulling, and then controlling it down, and stretching, keep it here, and not letting it come back here, right? You might be doing this, which is a common mistake for a spider curl, is this, and the elbows are going back. I want to keep that stretch here, and then pulling, and you see the tension on my bicep the entire time. And I'm flexing, right? You can tell I'm flexing by my tricep. When you flex your arm at the bottom, your tricep, see the difference between my arm not flexing and my arm flexed. So I'm flexed and pulling, and then controlling it down from here, and then pulling, and controlling it down and stretch. So when you do them, make sure that you're flexing your arm, like flex your muscle. A lot of times you guys aren't flexing. You're just waiting, you're hoping that, or not hoping, you're relying on the weight and then struggling the weight up, and that's where you're getting your contraction, when that's just a reactive way to train. I want to be like very like proactive. I'm the one flexing everything. I'm the one flexing down. I'm flexing my chest. I'm flexing my back. Make sense?
When doing barbell flies, do you lock your arms out? Sorry, I'm new to fitness.
Definitely. Barbell flies. So I'm gonna assume you mean dumbbell flies, and he's locking them out.
Yeah. Do you lock them out? Yeah.
Do you lock them out? So I'm just gonna assume I can't perform a barbell fly, so I'm gonna do a. It's all good, man. You're new. It's fine. So when we're doing dumbbell flies, the problem with dumbbell flies is that at the top of the lift, there's nothing happening. Now, we can argue and say that it doesn't matter because we want to be in a stretch to begin with, which is a very good argument. But if you only have dumbbells, then you only have dumbbells. But we want to be at the top. And yeah, starting here is fine. But we want to open ourselves up, right? And then we want to bend those elbows so at the bottom and open the chest out. We have this great stretch from here, right? And then we're pulling the arms back in. And it's fine to go here. It's fine. Who cares? Whatever. You're resting here. It's not a big deal. You can stop here where there's still tension on your chest. But the biggest part of this is going to be when you're down here. And the biggest part of this too is also keeping the dumbbells in a good balanced fashion. You don't want the dumbbells to be like this or kind of here or like open too much. You want them to sit. You want them to be like where they're at right here is where they need to be, all the way down here and stretching it open here, and then pulling back up, and then coming down from here, stretching, chest up tall, and then pulling back up, right? And what I like to do is I like to kind of make it float at the top. I want to bring it as close together as I can without touching, which is going to allow me to have a lot more of a contraction at the top, but also way more control. Instead of doing this and then doing that stuff and then coming down and reacting, I'm going to be from here, up, open, chest up tall, stretch, boom, open, chest up tall, stretch, open.
Thanks, Johnny. I've been making very good progress on my chest. This was the female who asked earlier. I will be doing exercises for my hips and glutes. Any suggestions on the 3 best exercises for hip and glute?
Squats, any squat variation, front foot elevated lunges, belt squat, and I'll actually demonstrate the proper way to do a kickback. Come with me. Hate these kind. I mean, it's kind of medieval. We go here. Let's just go here. All right. So when you're doing the kickback, and hey, listen, some of you guys here should be watching this as well too. It's a freaking good exercise if you're doing it right. All right. I probably should use my other leg for this because whatever.
You're bad. Yeah, do the other one.
Okay, so
All right.
you want to be on like a better, you want to be on a higher surface so you have this leg free.
You want me to grab the?
But grab me that.
Yeah.
It's heavier than you thought, eh?
It's not that bad.
Okay, if you can get a higher, like it doesn't have to be as high, but a regular rise will do. If you want to work these glutes good, right? Get yourself back far enough. All right, so I go back further. Oh my God. All right. So when it comes to doing these, we want right away, this doesn't work. We want to bring that knee close to the butt. Now my hamstrings are engaged. We want to get that chest up basically, and we want the hips to be here. So we have a crazy amount of hip flexion and knee flexion. From here, we're going to press this thing down and out to the side, right? So it's like here, and then we're here, and we want to pull the foot so it's a little bit externally rotated. Because when we're externally rotated a bit, we're working the glute med. So we want to get the glute max and the glute med. So my foot's going to start off like this, from here, pushing down and out to here. And then down, back to here. Out and in. And controlling it, so there's no swinging. This is a push out, and then right back in. And while this leg's working, the opposite leg, glute med, is working a lot to stabilize. And that's the cool thing about doing these properly, is that when you're doing them here, the leg that's not working is actually working to keep stable. So I'm here, I don't want my leg to come out like this. I want this kind of runner's posture here. Pushing down, which is gonna give me some tension, and then pulling out and in. Now you kind of want to push a little higher, because that will actually like help with the line of force. So when you pull down, there's already tension, right? So when I'm pulling here, there's tension on the extension, if you look at it, right? We're extending, and then we're pulling up, extension. And flexion, extension.
What's the best exercise for developing lower lats?
It's actually one of my favorite. Sweet. Love those classic pieces. All right. Grab a handle. Put this on that low pull. Get yourself in the bench. From here. You can push this leg behind if you want, or out to the side, it's fine. Right? And then I'm gonna be from here. Get a better bench if you have one. But I wanna have it stretch for here and pulling in right here. Nice long stretch. I wanna keep space between my ear and my shoulder. I don't want to be here, right? If I'm here, I'm already depressing my lats. You can see my lats are already engaged. I want to keep that engagement while I'm extended all the way out, while I'm lengthened, and then pulling it. All the way out, stretch, pull. All the way out, stretch, and pull. One of my favorite to do. You don't need a bench if you don't want to. You can do it standing up, but if you're, I don't want the limiting factor to be me holding myself up. So I'm gonna use a bench to be able to pull a lot more. Or if you have like a low pulley, rows are good too. Just say basically a seated row, but making sure that when you're pulling, we push that elbow to the floor. So when we're pulling, the lats are engaged. Everybody right now is watching this video. Right now, just do like this. Bend your elbow 90 degrees from here, and I want you to try to touch the floor with your elbow without doing this. Just do this, and you'll feel your lats. You want to make that happen while you're training the entire time, and your lower lats, your entire lats are gonna be working.
Perfect. Hold on. Hi, Johnny. Do I have to sacrifice McDonald's if I want to get shredded?
No. But if McDonald's is getting in the way of your self-control, then yes.
Having a hard time getting my biceps to grow. Any tips for good bicep workouts?
So number one, anything where we can get a good stretch. So while we're here, right, if we can do, nice stretch from here, then pulling back, right, then pull. You can do the same thing standing up as well too. Chest up, lengthen from here, and we're just pulling from here. Again, we're flexing the entire time. You can do pulls like this, same thing if you want to. We can kind of like do this instead. Same idea here, right? Stretching all the way down, make it stretch from here. And then again, we're flexing, right? Slow and controlled. Grab a weight that exhausts you and make you work your ass off for a higher rep range. I always say I like saying rest, but I also like saying if you can take a watch, time yourself, and make your set last anything between 30, 45 seconds, and within that time frame, you're getting exhausted. Like if you're at 30 seconds and you're doing extra pulls and you're like, yeah, it doesn't hurt that much yet, then go longer, right? We want the longer sets to create a lot more volume in your blood volume in whatever muscle you're doing. In this case, biceps.
How long should I bulk and cut for? Should I start with a cut or bulk? And if I'm getting into building muscle? Thanks, Johnny, much appreciated.
I can only get, I'm gonna give two scenarios because I can't answer the question very accurately at all because I have no clue what you look like. So I'm gonna say, say you're a hard gainer, right? A true ectomorph. You can't put on any muscle at all. I'm gonna say, get yourself into a bulk. Start with 250 calories, over maintenance. Do that for, a few weeks to see where your body weight is going. If it's increasing, then just let it stay there until your body weight doesn't increase. And then once it kind of plateaus, then add, 100 more calories, right? Don't just throw in 500 calories because you will put on more fat than muscle faster than you know. And then your cut is going to be absolutely ridiculous because you're going to end up cutting way more fat and coming up with minimum amount of muscle. If you're fat, if you're overweight, then you're not bulking at all. You're going to get yourself in shape. Both people are trying to get strong and optimize their training in terms of training hard, training effectively, and then, trying to get stronger. And then if you're trying to lose weight, then you're putting yourself in a deficit. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go 250 calories, below maintenance. Or if you're not moving much, then you're going to do some more cardio.
When training with 50% of your 1 rep max for any exercises with 3-second eccentric, a good way to train, or is 50% too low? Not many videos out there talk about how heavy to lift with the negative.
Man, so here's... Okay, so I am a very evidence based person, meaning science has its place to help keep us from doing dumb shit. The problem when it comes to fitness is it's confused everybody more than anything, okay? Here's a good example. Do you know what 50% of your warm-up max actually is? Have you calculated that? I doubt it, you have. So your goal shouldn't be, should I be training at 50%? Should I be training at 60%? Because when I hear that, it sounds like to me, what can I train at? What can I get away with to build muscle? If you're gonna have a 3-second negative with a 1 second, let's say pause at the bottom, that's 4 seconds, and then like a 5 second, concentric. It's 5 seconds total. If we're gonna train, we want our training to be between 30 to 45 seconds. So however that translates in terms of like weight, so here's easy right here. I'm gonna do a full set. I know I can do more than 20 pounds, all right? So it's 20 pounds, and I'm gonna go 1,001. Okay, so this is a very manageable weight. I'm at 4 reps. I'm at 5 reps. And I'm basically really on this, like I got a metronome in my head. All right, I'm at 8, 9, 10, right? That should be around like 30 seconds or 40 seconds. 13, all right? Right now it's starting to have a little bit of a pump, 14. All right, it's getting increasingly harder, 15. All right, now we're working, 16, 17, 18. It's getting a lot harder. 19. That's burning a lot. 20. 1. 2. So at 22 reps, I'm about 5 reps from failure at that. Now, is that 50% of warm max? I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever. All I know is when I was doing that, I knew when my muscles are coming to an end, honestly. I knew that I had, and if you see my arm is pretty pumped, I had 5 more reps. So instead of going to the gym saying, hey, should I do 50% of my warm max? You should be going to the gym and getting a weight, warming yourself up, and then getting a weight that will bring you too close to failure every single time. If that's 50% and you find it's too light, 50%, then you add more weight or you add more reps. And you do it to where you can still do the exercise optimally and have some form breakdown at the end of the set. Make sense? Hope it does.
You have 6% battery, but you have about 7 minutes left.
That's fine.
Okay, is it okay to go heavy on bench every bench session?
Is it okay to go heavy? It depends what you translate heavy as. Is heavy meaning like, you can't get the weight off of you and your form sucks? Then yeah, there's no need. But you definitely want it to be definitely challenging. You want it to be hard. Your goal when you're in the gym is to get stronger, to purposely get weaker. So that means that whatever weight you're using that you start off with, say you're doing like 100 pounds bench and you're doing 8 to 10 reps. And when you start off, you can only do 8 reps. And then all of a sudden now you can do all 3 sets of 10 with 100 pounds. Then you're gonna be like, I'm gonna add on 10 more pounds. And that 10 more pounds is gonna bring you right back down to that 8 rep range. And then you're gonna do it again until you can get stronger, and then you add more weight when you can do the highest amount of reps and you go back down. So your goal is to go to the gym, to train hard, to get stronger, to purposely get weaker. And we purposely get weaker by progressive overload, right?
Tips for lifting as you get older and keeping the motivation.
Motivation is, for me, getting older is like, I wanna live, become stronger so you can live longer. All the things that are gonna keep you out of the doctor's office are gonna happen when you're sitting in the gym doing exercise or you're on the treadmill or doing some kind of cardio. That should be your motivation. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth. You don't need motivation to go take a shower. You just know you should do it. So when it comes to actually training, brushing your teeth actually does help with like keeping yourself from germs and disease. And so does taking a shower. So when it comes to actually going to the gym and training hard and efficient, that's gonna keep you out of the doctor's office, gonna keep you longer, living longer. If you got kids, now you can train with the kids, you can run with the kids, you can do a lot more things, you'll be on this earth a lot longer. Now, when it comes to actually training for an older person, making sure we're warming up efficiently, making sure we're going through full range of motion 100%, meaning all the way down, the entire contraction is important, and that's for everybody's age, no matter what. And train as hard as you can. Hard doesn't mean putting on 1 rep max. It means your effort level is at its highest no matter how much energy you have when you go to the gym. That's what you want, because when you get older, we start to degrade in terms of like hormones, muscle hypertrophy, etc. So we want to play against the clock. So we have to basically offset that by training efficiently and training hard every single time. You're training like that higher end of your hypertrophy range and whatnot, and then like making sure we're resting and recovering more, and then de-stressing, because the older you get, the more stress that we have in our life. So making sure you're doing things to, bring your stress levels down, doing things for yourself, having your alone time, doing stuff that makes you happy, getting out of the gym, doing things that can, brighten your mood. All those things need to happen, and that's what you need to do when you get older. And now, really, but.
Hold on.
Let's go back out there.
What?
Let's go back out there.
Okay. Your classic steroid question is there. Do you do steroids? No hate, just wondering.
I used to. I've been off now for 3 years.
Let me see here. I had to scroll up a second.
And I've been off everything for 3 years. Pro hormones, peptides, SARMs. What else is there? Growth hormone. I wouldn't take growth hormone anymore because it's absolutely useless. I did that when I was bodybuilding and couldn't tell what was working either that or the trend. Regardless, it's just, I think growth hormone is the biggest waste of time, to be honest. Unless you're doing like a lot of it and for a long ass period of time. And if you have the pockets for it and you're paying for good money to get some actual like Lily Pen or Johnson brand or whatever, then you're paying $1,000 for 36 IUs, which is like, you'll go through that because you actually want to use GH. You're gonna need to do like at least five IUs at least. So 36 IUs at 5 IUs a day, it's $1,000 like every week. Like, no.
I have been having problems feeling my chest. I tried everything. I tried retracting my shoulders, and I still don't feel it. Please help.
So start off by doing push-ups. Do deficit push-ups, and sit in the negative. Do we have?
Choose a bench. Oh, I guess that will
I'll do these instead. All right, so what we want to do is, if you're not feeling it, right? We want to do a push-up. And you can open if you want to, if you're a little more wider and kind of angle it if you want, it's fine. We want to get down slow, stretching at the bottom, and then we want to push all the way top into it, squeezing at the top. And then when it squeeze, then lowering yourself slow and feeling the weight slowly stretch my chest, and then finding that stretch and feeling that stretch to pull ourselves back up. When I say pull, no muscle pushes. You guys are like, what? No muscle actually pushes. All muscles pull. The push direction is for us so we understand what direction we're going. But the chest pulls the shoulder in, this bone. The bicep pulls this arm up. The tricep pulls this arm down. The back pulls your shoulder down. The traps pull your collarbone and your shoulder blades up. So when I'm thinking about pulling, when I'm pressing, I'm thinking about my chest pulling my shoulders back to the front position, where my arm is completely flush with this part of my body. So when I open up, I think of pushing, pulling in, and just doing that. And just practicing that. It's gonna take time. You're not gonna, because you can't feel a certain muscle group, don't think that screwed. Just like anything else takes practice, right? Doing those things and practicing the movement, practicing even at home by yourself, just doing this, literally, where you can actually feel it and then put that on the machine or I would say machine first and push-ups, whatever. But it's gonna take practice. So don't get frustrated. Do it until you can feel it. And don't think it's like your chest doesn't work. Just say I haven't connected to it yet. You're probably just a beginner, new at this, and that's fine. I didn't think that when I was starting off piano, I would know Mozart. I had to learn the scale of C first. Even the scale of C when I started playing piano was hard. I was also 3 years old, but still, it's even harder then because your attention span sucks.
Hey guys, we're coming up to the end of the time. I know there's a lot of questions that didn't get answered, but he does do this every single week. And the sooner you are in the live, the most likely your question will get answered.
And I do them on my school group too, every Saturday. So if you want even more intimate, what I mean intimate, I mean like we're on video so I can see who I'm talking to and we get to talk more in depth. And we go more than an hour. So if you want to join the school group and all the great assets that I have in there, plus my recipe book is coming out. It will be out this fall. Recipe book. Know this. You guys asked for it. You receive. I've been doing a lot of work on it, and I can't wait to put it out. There'll be about 50 recipes in there for you guys, and they're all like actual recipes. Yes, there's some anabolic recipes in there, but they're practical recipes that are delicious as hell for you guys to be able to make and keep your diet in check. That's it. Guys, appreciate you all. Any questions that are there, guys, leave them in the comment section, and I'll either do a video on it and give you a shout out, or I'll just answer it next Q&A. So, guys, appreciate you all. And until next time, you know what it is, iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.